A lot of beginners install high-level snapshots without thinking where they are installing these snapshots. And then later on, they get maybe duplicate overlapping workflows, automations, random triggers, and then just end up having a messy account. And so in today's video, I want to go over and get a little bit clarity into when you should install a high-level snapshot into a single new sub-account or an existing one. So let's get to it. Hi, my name is Paul Kim, and in this channel, I help agency and consultants get their first or next high-level client by first focusing on the fundamentals and getting clarity before we implement AI and automations. All right, so in today's video, I want to talk about high-level snapshots and installing them, whether you install them into a brand new sub-account or to an existing sub-account. I want you to understand that most beginners may think that the snapshots are isolated. However, they're not. When you install a snapshot into an account, if you already have workflows and things in that account, it may affect automations, it may affect the tags, it may affect workflows, calendars, anything that's in there, it will affect it depending on what's in there. And so I want to go over two scenarios mainly. I think in most instances, I think that if you are a beginner and whether you're a beginner or you've been in this business for some time, it's going to come down to two scenarios, right? If you're fairly new, and in most instances, you're going to come, importing a snapshot into a brand new sub account. And so in that case, it's just importing the snapshot into that account. But before you even do that, I would recommend that you import that into a sandbox. They call it a sandbox. Basically, it means it's a demo account. So you import that into a sandbox and then learn, or if the snapshot came with tutorials, go through that and try to understand the snapshot before you start implementing it, right? And I think that's critical. If you checked out my last video, I talked about the top 3 mistakes that most beginners make. I'll put the link on top as well as in the description. All right. So the other scenario is if you already have an agency, right? Actually, there might be two scenarios, right? You may be installing multiple snapshots because you're a beginner and you're just, trying out different multiple snapshots from different people and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. I would, in that instance, import these different snapshots into different sub-accounts, sandboxes, so that you can test them out, and rather than putting them into one sub-account, because it will be confusing, right? Because then you don't know which workflows goes with which snapshot. So I hope that makes sense. And so if you're doing that, make sure that you put them into different sub-accounts, and make sure that you label each sub-account according to that specific sub-account, that the snapshot that you're working with. All right, the third situation is when you already have a live operational sub-account, right? And whether to import this snapshot into that account, or should we create a new sub-account, right? Now that requires a little bit of audit on, meaning that you need to go through, and there's different things that you have to kind of weigh the pros and cons, right? Do you have leads that are actually being worked on in that sub account? Are there workflows? Are there calendars that are working? Are there things, triggers? All those things have to be audited, and then you have to make the decision. Is it easier to clean the account and once you import it, or is it just better off for you to have a clean sub account that you can work off so that you can start fresh, right? So it does require you to kind of audit and think things through before you make that decision. But I would say for the most part, for most beginners, right, if you're a beginner and you are starting out, very new, I would say that pick some snapshot that you want to really build your foundation off of. Because if you don't, and make sure watch, like I said, watch the previous video of the 3 mistakes that that most beginners make. Don't do those 3 mistakes, right? Pick a snapshot and build off of that, and then learn from that. So I want to reiterate. So most beginners, I would say, start with a clean sub account, learn the workflows, learn the basics, the foundation, try to simplify as much as you can, right? And then understand the infrastructure, meaning that understand the snapshot, what you've installed. And I want you to understand that a good system is not built on adding more complexity. A good system is built on clarity on what you're building. And if you're looking for a good snapshot to build your foundation, your business on, I recommend the AI Employee. And I really took that playbook that HighLevel has given, and I built additional foundation on that, meaning additional tutorials to help you foundationally. And so download the client acquisition roadmap. I'll put the link below, and you can start your journey. All right. But in the meantime, go check out my next video where I talk about what snapshots are, and then the 3 beginners mistake that you don't want to make. All right, so go check that video out.